was called right. I come home with a bloody nose and a black eye. And my father was a World War II vet. He and his brother had landed on Normandy Beach. They saw taking private flight and they went to the beach and fought all the way through. And during the course of their combat, liberated the Constitution. And they took pictures of what they saw. And these pictures they put in the temple. Go on, line say, line it, line it, the first time I published these pictures, become public before. They are very, very difficult pictures. Very shocking. And in this album, every time I came home with that bloody nose, the last time my father would open this album and say, see those pictures? See those pictures? That's why we need this form of statement. You're sitting there with a bloody nose and you're 9 years old, you know, and you hear that, that's a very common thing. Well, before that, you know, I grew up in the period of the 6-8 war. We read about the 6-8 war, it was great victories, we called our armies, great Jerusalem, you know, our wall, it's all great, you know. But what I remember about that period was not before, it was the period before the zone, and people were locked down, not a waiting period. During that period where there were Arab police surrounding for a long time, some of us are old enough than some of us. And it was very traumatic because this was not even a generation away from politics. And we thought we were going to go for the second one. That, you know, the world was just going to sit by and let, you know, 7 million Jews be massacred. And no one was going to do anything. Not America wasn't doing anything either. So that internalized something very profound. That, you know, if we can't defend ourselves, no one else can understand. And finally, I began to get interested in this place called this. It sounds like fascinating. It's actually an independent Jewish state somewhere where you can defend them. And I joined a Zionist movement. My unique Zionist movement was to Washington, D.C. And in Washington, D.C., I had the honor of meeting Israel's ambassador to the United States. Got to shake hands. It's very random. And I said to myself, that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be that. Israel's ambassador. I was 15 years old. And for the rest of my, you know, growing up, that's what I wanted to be. I went to school to become this ambassador, study that history, learn to speak, TV, right? I expected to be Israel's ambassador. His name was. And many years later, I ended up working for Pfizer. And it was just an extraordinary moment. So then I decided I had to actually keep his studies to keep it. And remember, this is a very long time ago, folks. It's like years ago. And getting to Israel back then was not so easy. No friend. And you get here. I was too young to go. I just lied about my age. But then I went to kibbutz. I worked in the fields. I was a terrible farmer. And they were very happy to see me grow up and wreck all these crap. But I got to be a cowboy on the Golan Heights. Very excited. I completely shocked. And I was a little cuckoo because from that point on 15 onward, I worked every vacation, every Christmas vacation, every spring vacation, every summer vacation. I worked, you know, shoveling snow and breaking leaves and mowing lawns. Get enough money during the year to come to Israel every summer for free. Free. But that's what we're doing. And finally, I ended up. I was 18 at the time of the Army first, college first, and in this case, enough went to Columbia. What fun was that? And but right after that, I made Aliyah. So I made Aliyah with a backpack. So I had no coming with a car and landed in this country. There was nothing here back then. I got to tell you, first of all, the food was terribly low. There were like restaurants around. There was no central heating. We had to go get kerosene in 2 jerry cans and light up the stove. You know, we're sitting around these things. And And when you called home, you had to go to a payphone and take these tokens. See when you these bags of tokens, you sit there for an hour stuffing these things into a phone. You're laughing, right? You call home maybe once a month for five. That's amazing. You had to keep on dialing 118 to get an international operator, and it would cost $100 for 5 minutes. Oh, you know, you can call your parents, you literally cut off. You wrote a lot of postcards, and a very very different country. Very, there was no relations with China, no relations with India. You know, now people take the army, they go off to India on a trip. You know, back then, you know, you go to India, you weren't coming back. You're going to rescue and got there. There were 3 million Jews who were prisoners behind the Soviet bloc. That weren't free. There were 100,000 Jews in Ethiopia who weren't free in the world. The Soviet bloc, 12 countries have relations with us, enemy countries. China was an enemy country. After the Opium War, almost all the African countries have relations with us, no relations with Africa. Very few relations with South America. The United States, we have like a friendly relationship. I'm not going to lie. It was very nice. And kind of what I said, I'm primitive. Right back. Our biggest export item in the 1970s was orange. Orange, they were giving, you know, computer fun. Back then, was orange was a big thing. And I went to the Army as a character of the name at a time when I was home, because they didn't know. There were a couple of dozen home soldiers back then. Self-organization, and we didn't get for great benefits back then. Today, there are about 9,000 local soldiers in the United States, about 50 different programs helping them to pay. Very great. And I came out of the Army, I went back to graduate school in the United States, Princeton, got a PhD, blah, 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 all in order to be this ambassador. This is what I wanted to do. I studied really specific like ambassador, raised a family, really family, and went to work. I did various jobs, public jobs. I spent the Soviet bloc, work underground with the Zionist resistance, whole other story, very challenging. I arrested a lot of these interrogated. I worked as advisor to the past delegation of the United Nations. I don't wish this to anybody. It's part of the United Nations that was being interrogated by the state. Right? Really. It's our way to do this. And a lot of memory, a lot of research. Here, name, officer in the Army, and participated in, went to war as the first Lebanon, second Lebanon, several operations, the whole thing. Kids go in the Army, all within wars. You know, an Israeli exists in many, many ways. In 2009, I realized my 15-year-old dream, like that, was to the United States. And I was in Washington for about very challenging time during the Obama administration. Great era. President Obama, who I personally had a very high regard for, but he wanted to change the nation. He was going to a very special relationship. He looked at what he don't make that relationship special. He wanted to sort of normalize it, and he created a lot of friction. The Israeli government, by the way, not so different than Prime Minister Netanyahu. But it's extraordinary fight. I mean, like, no night, no day, no weekends, no vacations, but just amazing. I would come out of the White House, you know, and look at the sun going out of and you know, the ADHD 50-year-old West Orange, New Jersey, here I am, coming out to a mall and after the White House, which is what really interesting. And I think I worked very hard to bring Iron Dome here, one of my major projects, support Iron Dome, build lane, different communities, the African American community, travel around the country, get out one, strong military, product, West Point, Annapolis, every military base all the time, just endlessly, feeling proud. Yeah, and I came back for 5 years, and I ran the government. Columbia, domestic, whole different, not easy. Again, not a lot of sleep. It was very important. While in government, I became a member of the Israeli government. I was deputy minister of diplomacy and finance office. I dealt with our foreign issues for those times, and I also did a classified committee that dealt with very sensitive issues in official foreign policy. And since then, I've been a citizen. I am head of several what's called NGOs. One of them supports the border police, very important. Close to 70 folks that they raise the stakes. And I have my own NGO. It's called Israel Advocacy Group, and we defend Israel in the press all the time. Every meeting, social media, regular, American, and I'm on all the time. But that uses prime time American report. I'm going to go American, this and that. Got to get out and go time period. Wait, it's going to specify order in the case, and you got to make sense. Having looked back, many years ago, Israel, and also having been a historian of Israel, a field that it is important the context, personal context, and also historical context. Israel is going through an extreme, everyone knows this, stress, and it is certainly one of the most challenging periods. And people say it's the greatest crisis we ever had in the U.S.-Israel relationship. I'll say it is a crisis, but it's up there with several other crises. I will talk about the 1966 war, remember this war, second now, before Israel joined Britain and France, a secret deal to get rid of mastery. Eisenhower administration won sanctions. They came down on a record, crisis. That crisis around 8 years. There was crisis after crisis. Ronald Reagan, great political president, stopped all kinds of things after we blew up the Iraqi nuclear reactor. People forget these crises. But this is certainly very important. And even the horrible, unspeakable losses we have suffered, they are unspeakable. In 3 weeks, in October 1973, Israel suffered 3 times the losses that it suffered in October 7 for the third of the population. So these are traumas. This doesn't anyway lessen the depth and extremity of these traumas, but from seeing a historical perspective, we can come back in time. Well, back. So I have that historical perspective. I also have my personal perspective. So I've lived through many things. Wars, the first, second Lebanon War, one of those economic crises, probably the most difficult second. And in 5 years, where people didn't want the restaurant. You didn't want to get out of water. That's what the restaurant. It was supposed to family. Very difficult thing. We look back and think, oh, okay, we got over that. It's horrible, we got over that. And so, looking at this period with all the difficulties, and I cannot tell you how it's done. Don't know. But the way wars begin, we all know how they end. I'm still very confident because I have that personal perspective. When I came here, I mentioned even relations. Today, relations with India are close relations with India, China, up and down, friendly country, Russia, friendly country, with 12 blocks. 12 countries that were part of that Soviet bloc is one of our best friends in the world. Right? And relations with Africa, when I was with diplomacy, every week I had some absolutely good in my office. We wanted relations, knowledge, this knowledge. Amazing. South America, up and down. We have a relationship with the United States in spite of the tensions now going forward. story to understand in more detail. We have, and I say this without observation, we have the deepest and most multifaceted strategic alliance I have any country. Probably now just talking about alliance you can get. Give you one little factoid, my favorite. Every American combat pilot, helicopter or a fighter plane, wears an Israeli base helmet. About that. Most American service people carry an Israeli band. When I came here, we didn't have peace with anybody. We didn't have peace with Jordan, we didn't have peace with Egypt. Like, Abraham. If you had told me when I would someday have peace, Egypt, Jordan, Morocco, UAE, Bahrain, so what do you drink? And in contrast to when I first came here, everything in the book is free. That's no small thing. All my youth. So we do all views for it. We can't lose sight of it. Doesn't mean we have to be Pollyanna. Yeah, very complex. And by the way, I don't see time to get this complex. The problem south, very challenging situation, big situation up north. There's no way to sort of downplay. But my personal perspective, my long-term, my structure, out of it, just come out. It's true Jewish history. Well, approximately 4,000 years. What we do, we're always we are one very tough. Very strong. And so, Israel's a place of great. But if you haven't been in the 15 years old, it involves a place. Both three. It's not going to be easy for you. And not as much even in the dream. Trust me. It is that. And that's it. I'm very Buddhist. I'm very empty. I think that there was no Alexander Muscle. There's no kind of program like this. It was not really. All I went watered out. Like it. Okay. Questions? Please. Sure. What was the process like? What is the process like about like you chose to become ambassador? I was just telling the story that I had this tweet and it really struck me. And everyone went to like job and say, "What do you want to do? What's your sunny savannah? What's your ultimate goal in life?" Stuff like that. And when I finished my PhD, I read history. So I became fairly well known as a historian in the United States. I started doing television programs like you've seen a there a couple times. That's here. I was Lamar a couple of times. Stewart. Well, I mean, all these programs are terrifying. And so I was well known in the United States, and I would come back. I was a visiting professor. I was a visiting professor at Harvard, Yale. I was a visiting professor at Georgetown, and I would always come back and brief Israeli troubles, Israeli fish troubles happening back here, the other in America. And so I was pretty well known in Israel too, but so I positioned myself well. And then I heard that the Israeli ambassador had resigned. It was at Georgetown. And I just got on the phone. It was the same way I went to Israel when I was 15 and lied that I was 17. A lot of folks, I think they called the prime minister up. They said, listen, I sign up on my hat. And they said, okay. And about a week later, I got a phone call. They said, get on a plane, home. And for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I went to Israel every week, at least once. Crazy. Talk about jet lag. And I had to go through numerous interviews for other candidates. And then once even I was selected, I had to go through days of vetting. I don't wish this on anyone, including 2 days with Mossad in the back room. Didn't beat me up, just asked me questions. Questions had to fill out a lot more. And then finally go to what's called the state employee, the state office that approves you if you've been employed. It's designed to prevent politicians from reporting their buddies in different positions. And we had to go through that process. And then finally the government has to vote. So it's a long process. Then you get to Washington, and you have a position, a period where you have been appointed by your government, but you haven't been approved by your host government. Okay? And you have to give in your credentials to the president. And they have to approve it. The government there, I had to get some friends in Congress to also support me there. Because that was you have to do a lobbying. This is not an easy process. I'll tell you a funny story about my father, because my father he passed away some years ago. He was a tough guy who fought World War II, a tough guy, crazy girl. And they said to me, okay, you've passed the period called agreement. Agreement. The Obama administration says you can represent Israel. You have to go to the White House now to present your credentials. And you can bring your immediate family. I said, well, I want to bring my parents in too. They said, no, you can't do that. The protocol, you can't do that. I said, I'm bringing my parents in. They said, no, you're not. I said, in that case, I'm not giving my credentials. And they invented an Israeli, right? And they said, okay, bring your parents. I said, after all the grief I have caused these people all their lives, I have to give them a little bit of that, right? So I became the first ambassador in history to bring my parents into the White House, along with my family. I was now 50, maybe, right? My parents were in their 80s and the late 80s. And so they tell me that when you walk into the Oval Office, you have to prepare what's called an elevator speech. What's the elevator? It's a 4-minute speech that you would give to the President of the United States on the highly likely scenario you are caught in an elevator. Okay. So I spent like 2 weeks thinking, I had it all in. I had a great elevator speech. I bring my parents to the White House. Father walks up to the president, takes his hand, and takes him into the corner for the next 10 minutes. And I never got to get my elevator. All because I brought my dad in there. So no good deed goes. Yes.
What's been your the biggest struggle on being ambassador?
Well, I haven't been the ambassador except the big challenge for the current ambassador is Mike Herzog, who's a great guy, good friend, very experienced. We worked together on the peace process. And I worked with his brother, with our president, Herzog, with his father, who was Chaim Herzog, who was also president. And I was the last assistant to Avi Ebens, the great diplomat. Avi Ebens is actually Isaac Herzog and Mike Herzog's uncle. Everybody knows. You know that? You know that? You know that. They're both married sisters. And he's half Egyptian and half Irish. And Mike has got a not an easy job because, on one hand, I work a lot with Joe Biden, who was prime minister. He was vice president. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken back then was policy advisor to Joe, and we work very close together. So these guys are very close. They care about the alliance, but they have other considerations. They are Democrats. The Democrats have a certain view of the world, which not necessarily constant with Israel's view of the world. They give a great weight to international institutions like the UN. They don't not comfortable with military force. They don't like it, and Joe Biden Hillary. Pull out of and they have a very deep feeling of the Palestinians. And it's also the election year. It's all everything else. And they're afraid of what votes are going. They're very tight right now. Most of the polls show they have. So they're concerned. So that comes out in terms of sometimes very poignant criticism of, and it's really come to a head today because, and I'll be honest with you, too political, but we were trying to offer a package to Hamas in exchange for a temporary ceasefire. They let 33 of our hostages out, and Hamas turned it down. Actually turned it down with force. So we ordered yesterday. And one of the reasons they turned it down, unfortunately, is that the Biden administration said that Israel can't go into the field. So Sinwar, the head of Hamas, thought, hey, why should I give them what you're doing? I say it's going to hold Israel back. And I think it was very bad. I just don't think it was thinking. I understand why. I understand the motives behind it. In the end, I think it's worth that. That's my feeling. All right, we'll go ahead.
How was the process of the Iron Dome from Israel? Sorry.
Well, the Iron Dome's interesting. We have very strong connections to what's called systems. Certain systems, like every American naval boat carries an Israeli cannon. Really done. And of course, we use American systems. Our airplanes flying blanket 5 and yet not arsenal. And many of our handguns are American made. And we also develop very sophisticated systems. So among these systems is the world's most advanced multi-layered anti-missile defense. You saw it work those were here during the onslaught of 350 Iranian projectiles, drones, and missiles. You saw how well they were. And there were different levels. So it starts with Arrow 3, which is the highest level. It's actually orbital. Arrow 2, which is suborbital. And then you have David Sling, which is an anti-cruise missile, medium range anti-missile missile. It can follow the joystick. If a rocket's going like this, not like the stuff that Thomas fired up and down. You got something that can guide. You got very strong. That's David Sling. So Arrow 2, Arrow 3, David Sling are Israeli-American projects. They're together. Iron Dome is Israeli project. And what it needed was American funding. So it's very expensive. Each one of those interceptors you see going up to take out a missile costs about $60,000. The batteries cost about $55 million. And we never have enough interceptors to see what we're shooting at. So we made arrangements, first of all, to get $200 million in aid from the White House. We've since then got much more aid from Congress. And we've opened up a fourth production line of interceptors in Alabama. Okay. So part of the missiles you see intercepting Hamas rockets are made in the United States, actually made in the United States. So it's a joint project. That was quite extraordinary experience. I got up in front of Congress toward the end of my term, and I spoke to Congress, and I said, above Israel, we're confident we have an Iron Dome, but behind that Iron Dome stands a marble dome. The conflict. Yeah. In Soviet Union?
Yes.
Oh, so during the many years of the Soviet Union, Zionism is illegal in the Soviet bloc, not including countries like Czech, was then called Czechoslovakia, Poland, Hungary, Romania. If you're a Zionist studying Hebrew, can you imagine that? And not just been, but hard labor in Siberia. There's a chance you weren't coming back. And if you applied to leave the Soviet Union, you lost your job, you lost your friends, they beat up on you. Your family would be broken up. You'd be sent to prison. Maybe they'll let your wife go to Israel. And you see, the people who continue to desire to move to Israel was simply the bravest human beings I've never met anybody like it, including in the Israeli army. And what the Israeli state is, we had an office, it's still there, and we would send out emissaries all the time. to make contact with these underground units. And some of the people would bring jeans, blue jeans. You bought a pair of blue jeans back then. You could sell them on the street. And you'd have enough money to live and eat on for months for one pair of jeans. Some would bring Hebrew books, smuggled in. And I was in the Army. I got out of the Army 2 weeks after the Army. I said, my teeth won't even dry. I got a call from this office saying, you can go to the Soviet Union on this pay no. I was brought up in the Soviet Union movement. And so I actually met with a friend of mine who just got out of the Golani Brigade. And they were looking for people who had 2 passports. I have an American passport. And then, by the way, I don't have an American passport now because I had to give up my American citizenship from the ambassador. I don't wish to send anybody. And we went through some training. We learned to read Russian, learned some rudimentary phrases in Russian. Best one I remember is Yanni Pani Maya, which is things I don't understand. And we had to memorize hundreds of addresses, phone numbers, and names. That was the part of long Russian names. We couldn't carry them as written. And we went to suck during a very difficult time. They had the Soviet Union gentleman named Brezhnev, who was really came down very hard on the Jews, on Zionism. And everybody who was studying Hebrew back then, everybody who wanted to visit knew that eventually they'd be arrested. They studied Hebrew. And we landed in the middle of the winter. It was freezing cold. I was scared to death. I was really scared. By the way, they told us, if you get caught, you're on your own. You could ask to see the American ambassador. No connection. And here I am in Moscow. It's an enemy country, and working underground. I suddenly forgot all the numbers I remember. I couldn't remember any of them. I remember one because the gentleman's name was my maternal grandmother's name, and I dialed it, and he showed up at the train station. A young guy, handsome, not afraid of anything. The guy's name was Yuli Evers. And we then came to when I was in Knesset, my first vote in Knesset was the vote. Yuli Evers was the speaker of the Knesset. And he said, what are you afraid of? He spoke Hebrew that was so beautiful. They all spoke amazing Hebrew that they had taught themselves using shortwave radio. One of the funniest things that ever happened was we sat in somebody's underground. They started singing a song, and they said, "What's the meaning of the song?" And the song was the Austin. They thought it was actually using song. And just most of the leaders of the underground were young women, 15, 16 years old. We just held everybody together. It's like singing out of the wars together. Every single one of them was arrested. Every single one of them was sent to Siberia. We were arrested pretty much every day. And congregated in line, but I don't wish this on anybody. But we came home. Somehow we got out. But for one story. But it's an event. I was talking to a person in my building that was cleaning. And I saw that she had an accident. I said, "Where are you from?" She said, "From Ukraine." I said, "Where in Ukraine?" So I'm from Vinnytsia. Vinnytsia was probably the hardest place we worked. HB was just utterly anti-Semitic, Nazi. Horrible, horrible. We dressed like that. And today, Vinnytsia, you get on the plane and go. It's hard to imagine. Different world. I'll get to everybody. Yeah.
Oh, what makes you want to go to IELTS after?
Oh, I just want to be sorry. I'm not, the mock. You sign up, right? I get the mock. A couple of funny things happened to Bach. My father and their baby on. There's the U.S. Army get everything. I get to the box and I said, "There's one for a box." And I don't get it, bring your own. I'm stuck in the box for 3 weeks with my own thing, just underwear and socks. And underwear and socks are very expensive. I had no money. And I got into the habit of a long soldier. Back then, our base was 10, but my entire soldier was 10. Every time they moved a 10 can, underneath would be a layer of socks and underwear. So I'd go under there with a little stick, pick them all off, bring them in a plastic bag, bring them home, put them in a big pot, boil them. By the end of my shirt, I had 40 pairs of socks. Great pair of socks. But I got in the hospital and they said, okay, you're going to artillery. I said, no, I'm not. And they said, yes, you are. I said, no, I'm not. What are you going to be? I'm going to be fine. I said, okay. Well, they go back to the tent. So this went on every day. They come and threaten me with the court martial until they let me finally for 2 weeks. Let me run trial. Did the trials. They put me in the hospital for a week. No kidding. And I was unbelievable shape. I was an athlete in college. I had been an academia. I won 2 gold medals. Yeah, I was a great shape. I just won the New York Marathon. I had never experienced anything. They literally wrecked me. Right? And I was sent to Rob on hospital, and those days you did this stuff, you just picked up right away back to my unit. And I, ended up being an award. It was called